Hello students, a very good afternoon to all and welcome back to daily newspaper analysis of 12th of May. These are the 5 important articles which we shall be discussing today. So first important article is related to energy crisis and the global uncertainty. So basically here I have combined 3 important articles of today's newspaper. So here we shall be discussing the recent appeal of Prime Minister of India. Secondly, we shall be discussing the criticism why opposition is criticizing the state. And nextly, we shall be discussing what is the status of the availability of various energy resources in India. So here 3 topics I have combined, so we shall be discussing in detail. Next topic is related to cheetah. So recently 2 female cheetahs have been reintroduced into Puno Palpo National Park from Africa. So here we shall be discussing the complete issue and some of the prelims related points, like some of the basic characteristics of cheetah, like the location of Puno Palpo National Park, etc. Next topic we have about the International Big Cat Alliance. So here we shall be discussing the status of China, that whether China will be joining this alliance or not. Then we shall be discussing about the 7 big cats, and finally we shall be discussing other prelims related points. Next is a very important article related to noise pollution. So basically this topic discusses that in India we discusses various kind of issues, for example air pollution, water pollution, but noise pollution is also very serious issue which we often ignore. So here we shall be discussing what are the important issues and what must be the solutions. And finally, we have an important article related to Baiga tribe. So this topic of tribe has always been very important for prelims. So here we shall be discussing the news and what are the primary characteristics of Baiga tribe and where all these tribes are found. So in this way, we shall be discussing 5 important topics for today. Okay, so here, see, I have combined 3 important articles for today. The first article is India has sufficient stocks of fuel commodities. So basically the government is saying that there is no need to panic and we have sufficient stock of all the essential commodities and all the fuel. Because after this appeal of Prime Minister of India, after that day, people have just started to buy things, so that no, they are thinking that COVID kind lockdown can happen. So that's why people are buying things because of that fear. And second article is related to belated warning. So here we shall be discussing some of the criticisms, this criticism of the stake of government. And finally, this article is also related to criticism only. Okay. So first of all, let's discuss what was recently declared by the government. So recently, amid this West Asia crisis, one meeting happened, meeting of informal group of ministers, and in that meeting, government has stated that currently India has sufficient stock of all the important things. For example, India has 60 days of crude oil reserves, India has 60 days of natural gas reserves, as well as India has 45 days of LPG stock. Along with that, India has sufficient amount of foreign exchange reserve, which is above $700 billion. So basically, government is saying there is no need to panic. And at present, we have sufficient amount of reserves of everything. Just the appeal which was made by the Prime Minister of India, it was to ensure so that we can save today, so that we may not face problem in future. So that was the appeal. Next, the center is saying that though because of the West Asia crisis, the price of petrol and diesel have increased a lot, but after that also all the consumers in India are getting the oil and diesel at very nominal price, and because of that all the oil marketing companies are absorbing losses of around 1,000 crore daily. So basically this thing was stated by the government that at present we have sufficient stock of everything and no need to panic, no COVID kind lockdown is happening. So basically, this was the thing which was discussed by the government. Now let's discuss everything in detail. I think we discussed yesterday also, but today also let's discuss briefly. Okay, so as you know that because of the war in West Asia, and especially war in West Asia, and especially on what we are focusing, here we are focusing about the tensions which are involving the oil producing countries, because basically we are concerned with the oil producing countries only. Oil producing countries. So basically, when we are talking about the West Asia crisis, so because of the crisis in West Asia, global crude oil prices have risen sharply. This we know. Now, as you already know, that India imports most of its crude oil. So whenever global crude oil prices rise, Indian economy comes under a lot of pressure. Why? Let's discuss why this is happening. Because if there is global oil crisis, then what will happen? Your overall fuel will become expensive, right? If fuel becomes expensive, then overall transportation becomes expensive. If transportation becomes expensive, overall price of things rise. So here what is happening? Fuel will become expensive, transportation will become expensive, inflation will increase, and if inflation increases, rupee will depreciate or rupee will weaken. Now, though the government is saying, as we discussed now, though the government is saying that currently India has enough resource for the oil, gas, LPG, forex, etc. So there is no immediate shortage. However, but why Prime Minister has asked citizens to reduce the unnecessary fuel consumption? Unnecessary fuel consumption. He has to avoid the imports like gold. He has to use public transport, etc., etc. So the main point here, if Prime Minister is asking to do all these things, then there might be scarcity, no, which government is not exposing. So this is the main point which the article is discussing. So here, basically, the idea is that if Indians consume less, if Indians consume less imported fuels and goods, then Indians will be spending very few dollars, and hence India can become economically stronger in future. So here the criticism is why opposition parties are criticizing. Criticism is that why you are making this appeal now? Because indirectly, if you are making this appeal, so indirectly this is showing the seriousness of the crisis, and it should have been communicated earlier. So basically, opposition is saying that government was just waiting for the elections to end. Otherwise, this thing could have been communicated earlier only. So let's see what all things are discussed by the opposition. So see, Prime Minister has also asked to reduce the chemical fertilizer use immediately. See, as you know, that monsoon is becoming uncertain year after year. And these are the years of El Nino also. As you know that whenever El Nino reaches its extreme, so the condition of monsoon becomes very critical, because the very less rainfall will happen during the monsoon season if El Nino is very strong. And in this situation, the Prime Minister of India is asking to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. So this will hit the agriculture, and this will hit the earning of farmers a lot. Now, just a second. Yes. Okay, so I think we discussed about El Nino. Okay, and let's discuss other points also. So basically, opposition leaders are arguing that since Prime Minister has asked to reduce the unnecessary consumption, so basically, opposition is saying that people cannot reduce the essential consumption. So whatever may be the condition, you cannot reduce the essential consumption. Second thing is, when Prime Minister is asked for the work from home, so work from home is overall not possible for each and every sector of economy. Maybe for IT sector it is okay, but for each and every sector you cannot encourage work from home. And after that, the opposition is saying that these signs were visible earlier only, but government was waiting for the elections to happen, and overall this thing must have been communicated earlier so that our country was prepared. So basically, see, what all message we can take from the article is that as a citizen of this country, along with government of India, we also have some sense of responsibility. So maybe we cannot cut down the expenditure on the essential things, but always we can cut down the expenditure on the unnecessary things. So let's be the responsible citizens of this country, and let's minimize the usage wherever we can cut the expenditure. Now, this second article is related to the cheetahs. So basically, two cheetahs were recently released into wild in Kuno National Park. So see, what is the news? So recently, two female cheetahs were released. Yes. So recently, two female cheetahs, which were brought from Botswana, were released into the wild in Kuno National Park. And this release is a part of India's ambitious project, that is Project Cheetah. So basically the main purpose of this project was to increase the number of cheetahs in India. So let's discuss the brief background first. See, as you know that cheetahs had already become extinct in India many decades ago, right? So here cheetahs were already extinct in India, and this extinction was a decade ago. And what were the reasons for this extinction? Mainly there were two reasons for this extinction. First was the hunting, and second reason was the habitat loss. So basically these were the two important reasons because of which cheetahs went extinct in India. Now, to bring them back, India has launched a very important project. And what is that project? That project is Project Cheetah. And what is the main purpose? To increase the population of cheetah in India. And under this project, the government started bringing cheetahs from African countries. Mainly three African countries are there. First is Namibia. Second is Botswana. Please remember name of these countries. They can be easily asked in exam. So first is Namibia, second is Botswana, and third country South Africa. So mainly cheetahs are translocated from mainly these three countries from Africa. Now, when these cheetahs are brought from Africa or from any other country, these cheetahs are first kept in the quarantine. So first of all, like the concept of quarantine we learned during COVID time, right? So whenever these cheetahs are brought, they are also first kept under quarantine. And what is the main purpose? Why they are kept under quarantine? So that experts can monitor their health as well as their behavior. Now, after they are adjusted to the surroundings and environment, they are released into wild. The news is about same thing, that now at present two female cheetahs are released into the wild in Kuno Palpo National Park after quarantine period was completed. So if we discuss in brief what is the purpose of all these things, what is the purpose of Project Cheetah? So main aim is to help cheetah population to survive, to reproduce and to hunt naturally so that they can live freely in the Indian forest. Then only their population can survive in India. And the other important thing is, as you know, that cheetahs are the very important species for the grassland ecosystem. So if cheetahs survive, then overall biodiversity, overall ecosystem will survive as well as flourish. So this was the entire thing about the reintroduction of cheetahs. Now, since we are talking about cheetahs, so briefly, let's discuss about the prelims related points. So first of all, important thing is about cheetah only. So about the IUCN status of cheetah. So IUCN status, if we talk about the overall cheetah population, so IUCN status is vulnerable. But if we talk specifically about the Asiatic cheetah, then these cheetahs are critically endangered. Okay, so please remember, if we talk about the overall cheetah population, that cheetah population is vulnerable. But if we talk about specifically about Asiatic cheetah, so these are critically endangered. Now, if we talk about the physical features, so please remember that cheetah is the fastest land mammal and it is capable of reaching the speeds of around 100 kilometers per hour. Very, very important for exam. Second important thing is cheetahs have a flexible spine as well as non-retractable claws for traction. See, let's understand. See, for example, this is a paw of any big cat. Now, these paws have these extruded claws. And what is the purpose of these claws? These help in the prey catching. Now, after prey catching is done, after they are done with their work, these claws for most of the cats will come back. So that's why these claws are called retractable claws. So here cheetahs have non-retractable claws. That means these kind of extrusions will not come back. They will remain as it is in their paw. Now, their social behavior is also important because sometimes prelims question is asked on the social behavior also. So please remember that generally cheetahs are solitary animals except for the few conditions or except during the mating or when females rear cub. No, otherwise if we talk about in general, so generally these are the solitary animals. Now, if we talk about second social behavior, so here males form the coalitions. So basically, first important thing is that generally they are solitary animals except during mating. And second important thing is that generally males form coalitions. And what is the purpose of that forming that group or coalition? Their main purpose is to defend the territories and hunt cooperatively. Okay, since we were discussing about Kuno National Park, so briefly discuss about the prelims related points. So first important thing is about the location only. So Kuno National Park is located in Madhya Pradesh, and in Madhya Pradesh also it is located in northern Madhya Pradesh in the Shiopur district. So first important thing, in which state it is located? Located in Madhya Pradesh. In which area? So in the northern part of Madhya Pradesh in Shiopur district. Second thing is it is nestled near the Vindhyan Hills. That means they are located near the Vindhyan Hills. So these are the Vindhyan Hills and they are located near these hills. Originally, Kuno National Park was the wildlife sanctuary, and later in 2018 it was upgraded to a national park. See, when we are discussing about any protected area, it is very important for you to know the river, that which river passes through this region. So here, Kuno Palpur National Park got its name from the Kuno River only. So here, Kuno River is meandering in this park, and it flows from south to north and divides the part in two sections. So here, it flows from south to north. In this direction, it flows, and it divides the park into two sections. So please remember, very, very important for prelims. Now, next important article is about the International Big Cat Alliance. So basically, this article discusses the status of China, whether China will be joining this alliance or not. So first of all, let's discuss everything in detail. See, as you know about, I think about International Big Cat Alliance, we discussed few days back also. Basically, this alliance is created by India. So India has created this alliance, and what is the main purpose? Its main purpose to protect the 7 big cats. Okay, and what are these 7 big cats? These big cats are tigers, lions, leopards, where should I write? Snow leopards. So tigers, lions, leopards, snow leopards, cheetahs, jaguars, and pumas. So here, cheetahs, jaguars, and pumas. So these are the 7 big cats, and International Big Cat Alliance focus on the conservation of these big cats. Now, if we talk about the aims in detail, so aims is to help countries to work together, and what they will do, they will try to protect the habitats, because if you protect the habitat of any wild animal, then its population can survive. So they will work to protect the habitats. Okay, then they will work to stop poaching. They will work to prevent poaching of these animals. They will conduct research, they will try to do innovation, etc., etc. So these all things will be covered under the International Big Cat Alliance. Now, very important thing is that India is leading this initiative. And what is the reason why India is leading this initiative? Because India has 3,000 plus population of tiger, and mainly that population belong to category that is we call as Bengal tiger. So that's why India is leading this initiative, and various other countries have joined it. Now, India has invited China also to join this initiative, but there are possibilities that China might not join. What is the reason for that? Because at present China has very less population of tigers, and that too China has very small number of population of Amur tigers. Amur tigers, or the Siberian tigers, what we call. So that's why China may not join this initiative. Now, this International Big Cat Alliance Summit, it will bring together many countries to discuss the wildlife conservation and international cooperation. But important thing here is, under this convention, nothing is mandatory. That means it's not important or mandatory that though you are part of this initiative, you have to provide the financial assistance, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. Basically, it depends on the cooperation of all the countries which are part of this initiative. So now let's discuss other important things. So here we already discussed that China is unlikely to join this International Big Cat Alliance. And this also we discussed that India has more than 3,000 plus tiger population, and mainly they belong to Bengal tiger species. Here, this says that International Big Cat Alliance does not impose mandatory financial commitments on the members. Please note, this is very important, that there is nothing, a kind of mandatory clause in this. Okay, since we are discussing about IBCA, so let's discuss about this also. So basically, International Big Cat Alliance is a multi-country coalition of around 95 big cat tiger range country also and not tiger range country also. So please remember, UPSC can confuse it, that all the countries in the International Big Cat Alliance belong are the tiger range countries. Tiger range countries means huge population of tiger is found, but it's not like that. Other countries also who are not part of tiger range, they are also involved in this alliance, and if they are interested in their conservation, so they are part of this alliance. Now, this idea was first floated in 2019. 2019 is not important. 2023 is important because in this year, this International Big Cat Alliance was launched. Now, its aim is to conserve seven big cats. So we already discussed what are these seven big cats. Now, it is very important for you to know that characteristics of all these seven big cats are not exactly same. So basically, you must have basic ideas about the characteristics of these seven big cats also. So let's discuss about the big cats. So basically, if we are talking about big cats, so mainly these big cats belong to a umbrella category which we call as Panthera. So in Panthera, all those out of seven big cats, five big cats will come under the category of Panthera. So first is tiger, lion, jaguar, leopard, and snow leopard. These five come under Panthera, and all these five will have almost same characteristics. What is that characteristic? That all these cats can usually make vocalizations or usually make sound, which is called roar. That means all these five cats can roar. So very important thing for you is that other two cats like puma and cheetah, they are not part of Panthera, and also they cannot roar. So please remember that though we are talking about seven big cats, but all seven big cats cannot roar. Out of those seven, five can roar, and you have to read separately about puma and cheetah because these two big cats cannot roar. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Now, this we already discussed that cheetah was declared extinct in 1952. After that, since it became extinct, India wanted to increase the population of cheetah in India, and hence India tried to reintroduce African cheetahs. Why African cheetahs and not Asiatic cheetahs? Because Asiatic cheetahs are already very few in number, and at present they are in Iran. That's why we are trying to reintroduce African cheetahs, because they are more in number and their IUCN status is also vulnerable. Okay, so I think we discussed all these important things. Now, next important article is related to noise pollution. So basically the article is saying that India is focusing on various other types of pollution, for example, air pollution, water pollution, but noise pollution is also very, very important, but India is not focusing on that thing. Okay, so first of all, let's understand the overall thing, what the article is saying. So basically, article is saying that noise pollution has become a very serious problem in India. Though it is serious, but this problem is often ignored in India. It is very serious, but it is often ignored in India. Here, article is giving the example of Tamil Nadu. So, article is saying that recently in Tamil Nadu, either after celebration of elections or after cricket matches, many people use whistle. You know, a small whistle, right? So here, after all these things, many people use whistle, and this whistle create extremely loud sound. See, you must have a basic idea that if the frequency of sound is more than 85 decibel, that it may cause a severe damage to your ears. So basically, the article is saying that here the people are not giving much attention on the noise pollution, and after no election celebrations or cricket matches, they are making a lot of sound. Now, scientists say that such sound levels can damage the hearing if people are exposed to this kind of sound to a lot of time. So, if the frequency of sound is more than 85 decibel, then they can severely damage your hearing capacity. Now, though India talks a lot about various kind of pollutions, but air pollution is not taken seriously. Why article is also giving the example, why the article is saying this, because many Indian cities are regularly crossing the safe limits. Though there are various rules and regulations for the noise pollutions in India, but implementation is very poor, and many cities in India are regularly crossing the safe limits for the noise pollution. When they are crossing the safe limits, for example, during any procession or during any festival, political rallies, etc. Now, article is discussing in detail what will be severe impacts of this noise pollution. What will be the impacts of this? First of all, it can cause the hearing loss. Very important thing. If you are subjected to excessive amount of noise pollution, it can cause hearing loss. Second thing is, excessive amount of noise can cause stress also. It can cause sleeping problems also. And very important thing, it can affect the learning ability of children also. So that's why focusing on noise pollution is very important in India. So India has various kind of laws for noise pollution. For example, noise pollution rules of 2000. But here the enforcement is very weak, especially during any political rallies or during religious events. These kind of things are often ignored. Basically, what is the solution for this? First solution is, see, you cannot give the solution that you have to make rules, regulations, or laws. Rules, regulations, laws already exist. The solution is the monitoring must be very strong. Monitoring of these all rules and regulations must be very strong. After monitoring, enforcement must also be very strong. So monitoring is needed, better enforcement is needed. Along with that, better awareness of public is also needed. Because government can do, because the things government can do has certain kind of limits. Government can make the laws, government can try to implement those laws. But if we want real success, people must be aware. Because if I take the example of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, so in some states or some areas of India, that this initiative is very successful, and the important reason for that is the contribution of people. So if you want the very good enforcement or very good monitoring of anything, then involvement of people is very important. Now let's discuss some of the important data or facts which are given in the article, so they might be helpful in exam. So here, whenever we are saying that India's enforcement or monitoring framework remains weak, so here you can write, article says India's official noise monitoring infrastructure remains weak. How to substantiate that? It says India has only 70 national ambient noise monitoring networks, and these monitoring networks are across 7 metros. You can't even expect this kind of infrastructure in rural areas, and the expansion was very little in last 14 years. So basically, this kind of initiative was very good, national ambient noise monitoring network, but this kind of monitoring must be very strong, and it must be present in each and every city in India. Second thing is, though we have a lot of rules and regulations, but the effective policing or proper monitoring or enforcement is very weak, and this very severe impact is on the poor or the working class population. Why? Because basically this is the population which live near the noisy work sites, and these are the population which work in the high noise occupations. So that's why these are the people on which this noise pollution have severe impacts. Now, according to a report of World Health Organization, around 16% of disabling hearing loss is related to the noise exposure. This is very important, that around 16% of disability happens because of the occupational noise exposure. Second is, India is estimated to have around 6.3 crore of people with some kind of degree of hearing impairment. So this is also a very serious issue. And according to European Environment Agency, noise pollution is the second largest environmental cause of disability adjusted life years. So can you see, with all these data, we can say that though noise pollution is very serious issue, but it is often ignored in India. Okay, and yes, the rules and regulations which I was talking about, so these were the rules. India's noise pollution regulation and control rules of 2000. So basically, these rules set the zone-wise limits, that in this zone no kind of noise is allowed. In this zone, this noise of this frequency is allowed. In this zone, this frequency is allowed. So in the zones where hospitals are present, where schools are present, no noise pollution is allowed. So if we enforce these rules and regulations strictly, we can also save the daily adjusted life years in India, and also we can reduce the population who is suffering from the hearing impairment. Now, next important article is related to Baga tribe. So this topic related to tribe is always very important for the prelims. So what is the context? So context is 13 children from the Baga tribes were recently rescued from the major human trafficking network. So this was the context. Now briefly discuss about the prelims related points of Baga tribe. So first very important thing is that Bagas are the particularly vulnerable tribal groups in India. Very important for the exam. So first important thing is Bagas belong to a category which we call as PVTG. Second important thing is that the name Baga came from the name of medicine men. Medicine men, that means it reflects their traditional role as the healers or the spiritual guides. Very important thing. How this Baga name came? Baga name came from their traditional role of healers or the spiritual guides. Now, though Begas under central list, Begas are categorized as PVTGs. If we talk about states of Madhya Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh, they are categorized as the scheduled tribes. Now, if we talk about the main regions where these tribes are found, so they are mostly found in Madhya Pradesh and specifically in Mandala and Balaghat districts of Madhya Pradesh. So these are the southeast regions of Madhya Pradesh. Now, if we talk about other states like Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, these population are found in these districts also, but mainly the population is found in the Madhya Pradesh. Let's discuss some of the key characteristics of Baga tribe. The first important thing is about their livelihood. So basically, their livelihood mainly revolves around the shifting cultivation. So basically, they traditionally practice shifting cultivation, and that practice is known as Bewar or Dahiya. Please remember these terms are very important for the exam. So here shifting cultivation is mainly called Bewar or Dahiya under Baga tribe. Second thing is they hold a spiritual belief against plowing of land. That means generally people in this tribe don't plow the land. What are the reason? They consider it as a sin to scratch the breast of Mother Earth. So here these are the important practices which are followed by Baga tribe. If we talk about the cuisine, so their staple diet is the coarse grains. Coarse grains like the kodo kutki millet, kodo millets, kutki millets. These are the staple diets, and a significant part of their diet is pej, P-A-J. What is pej? Pej is a drink which is made from the maize or rice water. So these are the important part of their cuisine. Next, if we talk about social customs, the first important thing is that live-in relationships are very common and socially accepted in Baga tribe. Second important thing is that in their marriage, reverse dowry system is prevalent. What is reverse dowry? Here, a man will compensate the women's family. So here, generally, what happens in dowry system? Women's family compensate men's family. Here, man's family will compensate women's family with money or the mahua liquor. Now there are various subcaste of Baga tribe. So those subcaste are Bijwar, Narotia, Bharotia, Nahar, etc. So these are the subcaste. And Baga tribes have the tattooing culture also. So here Baga women are known for their extensive as well as intricate tattoos. So these were some of the prelims related points with respect to Baga tribes. Now a practice question for you. So with reference to Baga tribe, consider the following statements. First is the Baga are classified as particularly vulnerable tribal group. Second is they are mainly found in the forested regions of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Third is traditionally the Baga practice shifting cultivation known as Bewar. So please try to give answer of this practice question in the comment section. Okay, so I think yes, so that's all from my side for today, and thank you. Have a nice day.